Hola, ¿cómo están? Este es un nuevo video de PSR, Proyecto Segunda República. Soy Adrián Salvucci. Hoy quiero hacer un video, un mensaje dirigido primordialmente a los hombres. No quiere decir que las mujeres no lo puedan ver. Creo que si ven lo que les voy a mostrar a continuación, van a poder mejor juzgar a sus hombres y mejor decidir el tipo de hombre que quieren y también mejor decidir cómo debe comportarse, qué es lo que debe buscar una auténtica mujer. Les voy a pasar una explicación que hizo una persona amiga mía muy joven, irlandés, que se llama Stephen Fox, que tiene un canal que se llama Uberboyo. Es joven, pero no tiene ni un gramo de tonto. Es un psicoanalista junguiano y también un gran estudioso de Federico Nietzsche, el filósofo alemán, entre otras cosas. Se llama este video El Camino del Guerrero, The Way of the Warrior. Está hecho con mucho sarcasmo y con informalidad del humor, pero véanlo, le he puesto subtítulos que da YouTube. En algunas partes los subtítulos no son precisos, pero usted va a entender el mensaje. Lo va a entender y a veces usa un doble mensaje para evitar decir groserías. Y esto es muy importante que lo vea todo hombre en la República Argentina y en toda Iberoamérica, ahora que se viene la gran lucha, la gran batalla contra los hijos de puta, este enemigo de mierda que ha copado el planeta Tierra. Cuando vea este video, que dura 16 minutos nada más, piense y le señalo 4 películas que tienen más o menos 20 años cada una, que sin embargo son películas eminentemente para hombres solamente, porque solo un verdadero hombre puede entender el mensaje de estas películas. Primera película, El Club de la Pelea. Edward Norton y Brad Pitt, que hace de Tyler Durden, que le explica la lucha interna en el hombre y cómo un hombre se va creando y se va construyendo a sí mismo. Segunda película, Gladiador, con Russell Crowe, que hace de El Gladiador, y Richard Harris, que hace de el emperador Marco Aurelio. Se desarrolla en la antigua Roma. Tercer película, The Matrix, con Keanu Reeves y Hugo Weaving. Excelente película. Y la cuarta película, V de Venganza, nuevamente con Hugo Weaving y con John Hurt, que hace del High Chancellor, el gran canciller dictatorial, que en el fondo, como todos los gritones, como todos los maricones, como Alberto Fernández, que te dice a mí la rebelión no, el bombachudo, es en definitiva un cobarde degenerado. Vea esto y les pido por favor, divúlguelo entre hombres. Y sí, invite a las mujeres a que lo vean. Es peligroso, para que mejor juzguen al hombre que eligieron y que tienen a su lado, y si todavía no eligió un hombre, para que sepa elegir un buen hombre, porque ahora es imperiosa la vía, el camino del guerrero, porque si no, sucumbimos todos.
All religions say to us that to live is to suffer, and nowhere is that more true than in the jungle. In the world of the jungle, every one of your weaknesses is exposed and exploited. If you are not strong enough, a bigger animal will come along and tear you to pieces. Parasites will crawl up into your body and suck the nutrients out of it. Stronger tribes will come in, kill all the men and rape all the women and take everything you have. The weather is constantly cycling through extreme cold and blistering heat, wearing away at your defenses, your immune system and your skin. In the jungle, the vulnerable get crushed and consumed and ripped apart. This is the true reality of life. And to survive in the jungle, you need to have immense strength. You need to be extremely smart. You need to be able to outwit. You need to always find a way to overcome vulnerability. You need to find a way to be strong. And if you fail, it is proof that you are not good enough. It is the cold, harsh, answer Mother Nature gives to your attempt at life, and that is a "I do not care about you at all," a brutal rejection. She will allow you to suffer and die and be consumed. She will not think twice about your pathetic little feelings. She will let you rot. And so every animal has adapted a strategy in order to overcome this ruthless chessboard that is the jungle. And the strategy that human beings have developed is a very, very interesting one. We have decided to go all in on this motherfucker. We have decided that we must grow big brains and become very smart so we can build big cities and machines that will protect us from the brutal animals that live in the jungle. But brains are soft and mushy and they take a lot of energy. So in order to build a human, we have to spend a long time incubating them. They have to spend a long time in the oven. And so when a baby is born, it's not even a fraction finished. The baby still has another 20 years before they'll be fully grown and ready to take on the harsh world of the jungle. And so what we do as humans is we create safe spaces to protect them, to allow them to grow. The first of these is our mother's arms, which is so soft and gentle. She cares for us, she gives us everything we need, and we are comfortable and safe from the cold, harsh world. But then the second safe space becomes the society itself. The society with its walls around it that keeps out the animals and all the bad men. The society that allows us to go to school and become educated, allows us to play, allows us to learn how to express our minds and release ideas and become competent with our mercurial nature as human children. But there is a dark side to this, because at some point we need to get ripped out of these safe spaces and thrown into the jungle where we can learn the true demands that Mother Nature puts on us. And so this is where we get the first major psychological problem of humanity. The safe spaces that we need to incubate ourselves, they keep us soft. They are addictive and they are comforting because unlike nature, they expect nothing from us. And we become very comfortable being inside Mother's nest. And it can become very hard to leave Mother's nest and jump off that cliff and risk the scary fall. Instead, there's an urge to stay in Mother's nest and become a soft boy. And worse still, a soft boy who knows it all. A soft boy who sits there in his baggy clothes and plays the video game and probably gets bullied in school a bit, but mum tells him everything is alright. The soft boy who's scared to go talk to people, doesn't feel like he's popular enough, wishes he could be better, wishes he could do something, but can't find any meaning in life, can't find any way out apart from sitting there with that computer and just playing away, having those grand adventures on that screen, watching movies, hanging out with his bros. No real goals, no real big ideas at all. Being a nice chilled out dude, you know, being open-minded, listening to that Joe Rogan, knowing what's going on, but never really taking any risks. Staying in that little house that mummy and daddy built for us. But see, the problem here is that if you refuse to take that leap, like the little bird, and risk falling down and getting crushed on the rocks, you also sacrifice the possibility that taking that leap would make your wings open up for the first time and allow you to truly see just how majestic and high you can fly. Soft boys who know it all strut around their little house with their video games, thinking they are kings of the world because the only kingdom they've ever seen is the one built for them. And it's quite hard to tell someone like this to go to the jungle and fight a lion, because they would see that as uncivilized, as pointless. And so we need to think of a way that we can burst that bubble that isn't as ridiculous as go live like the Spartans did. There is one thing that always works, and that thing is whammon. Whammons burst. Whammons burst bubbles because whammon expect something out of men, and that expectation is ruthless. You, despite being a soft boy who knows it all, you still have instincts. You will see a beautiful woman, and you will get a desire to be with her. And you will approach her and say, "Hello, beautiful woman, let us be together." And she will look at you and she will go, and she will say, "No, no, you soft boy, away, away from me." And then you will be crushed, and you will retreat back into your safe space, that kingdom that your sweet mother made for you. And you will turn off the lights and shut the curtains and get down on your knees in the dark blackness of your sorrow. Scratch your face and say, "What is wrong with me? Why, Creator, have you forsaken me? Why have you made me ugly? Why have I been rejected by the woman? All I wished to do was respect her so hard. Respect her until she could not remember her name. Respect her until she could see colors. All I wished was positive, good things. But instead you are crushed by that feeling of rejection which says to you, you, soft boy, are not good enough. You are not up to the standards of the woman." And this emotion intensifies and drags you down deeper, deeper into the black. And you begin to ask, as all emotions demand you to ask, you begin to ask, why am I feeling this? What is the meaning of this pain? This is your natural craving for catharsis. Why do I suffer? You begin to ask. And there is always a reason. And the question becomes, why did the woman reject you? And in order to answer it, you must know the mind of the woman. A woman's mind was made in the jungle like yours. And a woman in the jungle is vulnerable. She needs to be protected as she takes care of children. And she needs to make sure that her children are strong. If some weak man impregnates her, that is her destiny for the rest of her life. She will have a man who cannot protect her, and her baby will not be strong and may die. So she will put all that investment into a weak child. That destiny is bleak, and her instincts know it, because many women were unlucky enough to have that destiny and had terrible lives, and may even have died. And so the soul of the woman learned, always honor strength. Save yourself for the strongest. Save yourself for the man capable of fighting the lions. Save yourself for the man capable of surviving the weather. In fact, strength was so important in the jungle that a woman would often find herself loving an evil man who was at least competent over a weak man. And so hidden in her instincts is the image of a strong man. And when you approach her in your soft boyness, you reach out your hand and offer gentle propositions and desires. Her emotions compare you to the strong man. And if you do not size up, her emotions will say no. And she will say no. And you will feel rejected. And so this presents you with a choice. Two avenues that you can go down in dealing with this rejection. Your emotions will say to you, am I not good enough? Your know-it-all soft boy side will try to protect your ego from the confession and the shame that you are not good enough. You're decrepit in your current form. You need to change. The one thing that everyone hates hearing. You will protect yourself from that, and you will say no. You will ignore the fact that it could be you, and you will say she is evil. Her instincts are wrong. She is crooked and broken and monstrous. She is the one who must change, and she is like life and like the jungle. Cruel, harsh, uncaring, and monstrous. And as you walk further down this path, you will begin to stew in hate and resentment, and it will begin to eat at you. And even though you didn't want to change, you will change into something more horrible and decrepit than you could ever imagine. A soy boy. Or you can take the psychologically sophisticated avenue, and you can sacrifice your arrogance and your ego, and admit that perhaps you are not juicy enough and that you need to change. Allows you to get that release, that charge of emotions, and focus on a very important question. What is it that woman wants? And you will find that it is a strong man, but then you will ask a deeper question. What is a strong man? And that's where it becomes mysterious, because you will notice that it's not just a juicy bodybuilder that she wants. Women seem to reward men with psychological strength. And so you can begin the great endeavor of articulating out what a woman's ideal man looks like. You will see that he is assertive, he has strong boundaries, he does not take no shit, he has ambition, he is a leader, he has a vision, he is fun, he is exciting to be around. And suddenly, you will begin to see something very important. These are all traits that you can develop. What a woman loves in a man is something that all men have access to. And now you see, women and men are not enemies, but in fact hold each other to the highest possible standards, and thus are each other's most ruthless critics, but also greatest allies. You may be born ugly, but all of these can be built. A woman is imprisoned by her beauty. She will have it in abundance when she is young, but she will lose it, and she can never get that back. But you can build a personality. You can become more assertive. You can build a strong body. All of what you need can be built, but you need to find the correct psychological energy in order to build it. And that energy is the energy of the warrior. The warrior is that ruthless, fiery archetype, that monster that lives inside your psychology, that is willing to endure pain. It is that brutal energy that says, I will suffer in order to reach a higher standard. It is the soul of conquest, of victory, of ambition. I will endure the pain of lifting weights in order to make my body stronger. I will endure the pain of telling someone what I really think in order to be true to my words and make my words mean something. I will stand up for what I believe in and endure the pain of social shame and ostracization. I will take a risk and go start my business and endure the pain of scarcity, of lack of money, of lack of resources, in order to be sincere to my aspirations. The warrior is the energy that makes you capable of dealing with the jungle. That energy will not appear until you leap out of that nest your mother has created. That warrior energy is the wings that appear on you when you take that leap. And a man in touch with this energy is confident that he can fight through hard times, and he is fearless in the face of risk. And now we see what all those religions wanted. They asked that question: to live is to suffer. What is the solution to suffering? And people would often say it is strength, and that is true. The strong do not suffer as much as the weak. That is the harsh rule of life. They began to see that the true source of all strength is psychological. It is that warrior energy. The energy that has a story in its head, that sees a higher standard, a purpose, a future, and is willing to suffer and endure the pain in order to achieve it. That is what conquers suffering. As Nietzsche says, to live is to suffer. To survive is to find meaning in the suffering. This path, this avenue is the key towards you reaching the apotheosis of your soul, becoming a juicy boil. But the road towards such greatness is long and hard, and most men do not endure. They fail, they get crushed by the demands of the struggle, and they settle for less. And so the question is, will you.
Me ha parecido realmente admirable la claridad mental, los instintos fuertes y la forma tan directa y tan decidida como este joven Stephen Fox de Irlanda expresa lo que le falta a los hombres hoy en día y lo expresa de una forma tan llana y con tan buen humor. Yo que lo duplico, quizás lo triplique en edad, lamento no haber tenido esta sabiduría más joven que él ya tiene con sus escasos años. Recuerdo que por allá por el año 2005 escribí un libro, que muchos de ustedes lo deben conocer, que se llama Bienvenidos a la jungla, dominio y supervivencia en el nuevo orden mundial. Bienvenidos a la jungla es Welcome to the Jungle, que era una canción que mis hijos escuchaban en esa época de Guns N' Roses, entiendo que era. Pero quisiera compartir con ustedes un prólogo que le hice. Ni siquiera es un prólogo, es una especie de inicio, introducción a este libro, hablando de precisamente lo mismo. Escuchen. En la jungla las cosas se ponen muy, muy peligrosas. En la jungla se sobrevive o se sucumbe. Así de simple, así de terrible. La jungla no es para los débiles de voluntad o para los flojos de espíritu. No, señor. La jungla es para hombres y mujeres duros. La jungla es asunto de guerreros, porque es asunto de vida o muerte. To be or not to be. La jungla nos amenaza por doquier, entre sus árboles enormes, lianas enrevesadas y helechos gigantescos, pululan fieras salvajes, insectos enormes y serpientes venenosas. Cada pasaje oscuro e intransitable esconde alguna trampa, casi siempre mortal. Hay que andar con sumo cuidado por la jungla. Hay que observarlo todo. Hay que saber interpretar cada ruido, crujido, suspiro o gruñido, que venga de adelante o ese que escuché vino de atrás. En cualquier momento hay que hacer silencio total y quedarse perfectamente inmóvil hasta que se entiende qué es lo que se escuchó o la sombra que se creyó ver pasar, hasta que se sepa de dónde viene ese extraño olor que estamos sintiendo. Pero hay otras veces en que hay que hacer todo lo contrario, hay que treparse con agilidad y rapidez al árbol más cercano para salvarse de las garras de algún hambriento cuadrúpedo. A la jungla hay que conocerla para no sucumbir en ella. Es distinta de día que de noche. Son otros sus ruidos, otros sus olores, otras sus brisas. Necesitamos saber interpretar las huellas de pisadas que tenemos en el suelo para evitar peligrosas bestias. Estas huellas que estamos viendo ahora, ¿qué son? ¿Recientes o son de ayer? Hay que saber por dónde badar los ríos para no ahogarse. Hay que conocer cuáles hierbas se pueden comer y nos alimentan y cuáles no para no envenenarnos. No es fácil la jungla. Pero si se la conoce, si se distingue a las criaturas que la pululan, si se evita tocar los panales de insectos peligrosos y pisar los enormes hormigueros, si se sabe qué puede y qué debe hacerse de día y qué puede y debe hacerse de noche, entonces se podrá sobrevivir en la jungla. Sobrevivir, toda una hazaña. Sí. La primera ley de la jungla es precisamente esa, sobrevivir. Sobrevivir significa conquistar tiempo. Así tendremos más tranquilidad para entender a los seres que habitan en la jungla, a cuáles respetar, a cuáles evitar y a cuáles cazar. Pues también hay que comer, ¿no? Sobrevivir en la jungla implica, en primerísima línea, no transformarse uno mismo en la comida de alguno de sus habitantes. Sobrevivir es entonces defensa. La segunda ley de la jungla es aprender a ser cazador. Sobrevivir también es ofensa. Atacar. Es duro, pero es así. Y es la única verdad. Entonces, como cazador, perduro. Busco y hallo a otros hermanos dispersos por la jungla que están en la misma situación que estoy yo. Ya no somos uno solo solitario, un solo cazador, en permanente fuga. Me transformo entonces en parte del grupo, en la tribu, en la colectividad. Ya no soy, ahora somos. Somos fuertes. Juntos hallamos un claro en la jungla. Juntos construimos protección y amparo para nosotros y para nuestras familias. Juntos hallamos piedras cortantes en el río con las que afilamos las puntas de rectas ramas. Fabricamos lanzas y flechas. Cazamos. Solidaridad entre todos y a cada uno lo suyo. Hombres, mujeres, niños, ancianos. Milagro. Hacemos fuego. Noches alrededor del fogón, comiendo la caza del hoy y preparando la cacería de mañana. La oscuridad nos invita a hablar con el espíritu de la jungla que duerme de día y vela de noche. Le hacemos compañía, le pedimos buena cacería para el día siguiente, le prometemos un pacto, hacemos una alianza con los dioses antiguos. Ese murmullo detrás de aquel árbol, ¿será el dios Pan espantándonos? Juntos montamos guardia y así podemos dormir, tranquilos y sin pánico. Con el tiempo reclamamos a toda una parte de la vasta jungla hasta donde llegan nuestros ojos y llegan nuestras piernas. Nos, el grupo, la tribu, reclamamos para nosotros la jungla. Ya no es más la jungla a secas, ahora es nuestra jungla. Nos, el pueblo, crecimos, nos multiplicamos y conquistamos a otros que también están en la jungla, pero que no supieron organizarse a tiempo, sucumbieron ante nuestras lanzas. Y también debemos guardar nuestras posiciones ante aquellos otros, mucho más fuertes que nosotros, que estaban en la jungla desde mucho antes que nosotros y que ya se van poniendo viejos, sin embargo. Será cuestión de esperar a que les falle la vista y se les debiliten los músculos. Habrá que estar en guardia y a la defensa. Ya llegará nuestra hora. Hay que saber esperar. Porque nosotros venceremos y luego, habiendo vencido, tenderemos nuestra mano fraterna a todos. Pero eso sí, esta parte de la jungla es nuestra. Bienvenidos a la jungla del nuevo orden mundial. Así empiezo este libro. El que lo quiera, que me mande un correo electrónico y se lo mandaré en formato PDF, ya que está totalmente agotado. Pero piense, esta es la última oportunidad que tiene la Argentina en particular y todo Iberoamérica de forjarse un destino ante los monstruos degenerados y superpoderosos que creen que el mundo es todo de ellos. Bueno, nuestra parte no lo es.
Proyecto Segunda República. No somos la oposición. Somos la resistencia. Una idea cuyo tiempo ha llegado.